I think regulators are not keeping up. The public safety is definitely at risk. The U.S. Department of Transportation calls safety standards regulatory barriers. They're having public meetings this week to talk about how to have less regulation, less safety protection for consumers. There's a bill pending in Congress that has passed the House and is pending in the Senate that would also cut back on safety standards, allow all sorts of exemptions, and ignore the fact that we need to have requirements for cybersecurity, which could result in terrible problems with these cars. We need to have a vision test for the vehicle itself. I think that's one of the problems that emerged in the Tempe crash in Arizona, so that the vehicle has to meet certain standards so that we know that the vehicle can actually see, just as when we go and get a driver's license, we have to pass a vision test. There's no standards available for the electronics itself. These are totally electronic vehicles. So there are lots of missing links here, and also the other issue is the liability of the manufacturers if there is a problem. And they originally said, oh, well, we'll assume the liability. And just recently in California, you know, where they adopted these new rules, General Motors came in and said, well, if the person doesn't keep their car up to date and repaired, then we have no liability. And luckily, California, luckily,
it sounds like you see a lot of daylight between the current standards and those that you think would safely allow this testing to take place.
Absolutely, and luckily California would not let General Motors get away with that, but you're going to see in other states the companies are going to come in and ask for liability protection, and they also are having a fight in the U.S. Senate over this, where Senator Blumenthal of Connecticut has said that he wants commitment that the companies won't have a provision to require you to go to arbitration as opposed to going to court, and arbitration is a very pro-industry arrangement. And so the companies are not doing due diligence, in my view, and what they should do, which is to make sure these cars are safe.
Right. Is the testing happening, though, at enough scale to pose a, I mean, obviously one injury is too many, but, I mean, this is happening in very small pockets, don't you think?
Well, yes, but there's a very small amount of testing going on, and one of the problems is that these manufacturers are all racing to be the first, and they want to recoup their investments that they've put into this, as opposed to, and that means that we're going to have the consumers who are using these cars or on the road where these cars are being tested or used are going to be the guinea pigs. But the companies want to sell these cars. They don't want to just test them. They want to sell these cars and let the public be damned. And if there's a problem, well, that's just the price of technology. So we think that they're not ready for prime time. They're going to be different levels. Some are going to be semi-autonomous, some are going to be totally autonomous. California has now allowed them to be totally autonomous. But I think it's going to be a long time before we're going to see that generally on the highway. But in the meantime, we're going to see a mix of traditional cars and semi-autonomous or autonomous cars. And that's very dangerous, very dangerous.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.